Welcome to Chaotic Harmony. My name is John.
This is Crystal. We talk about the joys and the challenges of teaching music in the elementary school classroom.
We share struggles, we brainstorm solutions.
And we would love to have you join us. Welcome to the new year, listeners. It is 2022.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yes.
How were your holidays?
It was pretty blank, and I like it. No, it was needed. Like I sat on the couch a lot, and yet like it was funny. So I've taken this idea from this YouTuber Peter McKinnon, photographer, YouTuber. I don't know. There's an episode where he talks about like having a list of 8 critical things to do, and I did it a lot during the school year. Okay, it helped me kind of like not just organize my time, but also decide what do I need to use, what do I need to remove, because you can only have 8.
Okay.
So like once you do 8, you're done.
Then you're done for the day?
Well, then
or is
you're
this like
done.
An ongoing list?
You shouldn't be adding more to your list. You should choose 8 critical things. And
so when one rolls off, then one can roll on?
No, you're done for the day.
See,
exactly.
I'm an overachiever.
That's the thing. So it helps because I'm also an overachiever as well.
Wait, you are?
I know. Because remember, when I stress, I go to the 3.
That's true.
Hashtag, should we do this podcast? Enneagram. But
I think that's a record. We're not even a minute in and we're already talking Enneagram.
So the thing was, after the first 5 days, like I was doing nothing. Mm-hmm. And it was nice, but also like I feel like I should be doing something at least. Okay. And the thing with the 8 critical things, it could be whatever you want. Like go to sleep at 9 o'clock, whatever.
Okay.
So
I like that one.
It was good to bring back the list so I can at least say to myself, I'm doing things while still giving myself rest.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. For example, one of the things is drink 3 liters of water. So.
Wait, is that for you?
That was for me.
Okay,
yes.
So you added that.
That was part of my. Every day it's something different. Every day you start and you jot down things.
Liters.
So. Yes, liters.
I know.
Yes, liters. They should switch to the.
John has a thing about the metric system.
I feel like everyone should.
Okay.
Everyone should have a thing about the metric system, meaning a positive thing, because it is way more organized. It's a mod 10 system. We should just use it. It makes more sense.
Okay.
If you want to, I will have an argument if you want to. Not
know.
with you, but anyone who wants to listen. I have reasons for this, and I'm willing to talk with you.
I empower whatever you need to do to organize your brain.
I need coffee.
Oh, yes, you do. Are you sure?
Oh, I'm sure. Good morning.
Good morning. I don't think we usually podcast this early.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, so it was nice. It was small. Good. It was needed break. Mm-hmm. And so right now we're recording New Year's Day. Yeah. And it's we have, thankfully, because we're a year on school, we have one more week off. I'm sorry for those who are jealous, but we only got 6 weeks of summer. So
thank goodness. Yeah, we do. And this year it was even shorter. It was like 4.5 weeks.
This past year. So this summer, so but typically for year round we have 6 weeks. So it's a trade-off.
It is.
But this next week it's gonna be focus time.
Yes. So. Are you focuses and you're getting ready? Getting ready
for the BAP festival, getting ready for all the stuff. Yeah, everything. So.
Oh my goodness, here we go. Already back into it.
It was good. How about you?
Yeah,
How was your break?
It was great. This house was very full. I think there was a series of about a week and a half where there were no fewer than 16 people in this house at a time. And it was a lot. Yeah. By the end of it, we were all a little overloaded, I think. And we loved being together. It was a really special Christmas. We had both sides of the family. People traveled from all over to like come convene here. And we're definitely a California family, but it's a big state. So everybody drove down. They were expecting a nice sunny Christmas, I think. And it poured.
It was raining.
It poured the entire time, which is so unusual. But if you look out the window, there are no less than 4 patio heaters out there. So
makes sense.
Yeah, right. I know. We're not built for cold here at all. So we basically made an outdoor living room and people just kind of spread out. It was awesome. We had 14 people around our kitchen island.
I also want to say to those that say, oh man, you should move to Canada if you want to experience cold. It's like, dude, our houses are not built for cold. That's another thing.
Neither are we.
That's true. It's true. Currently.
Yeah, currently. We could acclimate. Yeah, it's true. It was great. And then as soon as everybody left, I spent a day cleaning, and then I spent the next 3 days in bed.
Nice.
It was great.
Nice.
Yeah. I have not worn hard pants in about a week. It was great.
I can't wear soft pants for too long. I can't. I remember like during the early pandemic where like everyone's, I'll just wear sweatpants everywhere. I was like, no, when it's time to do work, it's time to work. Let's put on my jeans.
You know, I get in a groove where I feel comfortable all the time, and then I get dressed up again, and I'm like, oh, this does feel good, and then you feel energized. So, I understand the value in it, but I'm really enjoying soft pants for a minute.
I think also I only have one pair of sweats, which I rarely wear. Fun facts about John Seligman.
I know. If anybody wants to sponsor us.
Sponsor the pants.
We need a sweatpants company.
Or no, we can bring back Mark's idea of shoes.
No, it's
so
true.
If anyone wants to sponsor us regarding shoes, you
Slippers.
can email us
Comfy
at
shoes only.
chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com.
For ORF teachers. Do we wear shoes?
Yes, because after recess.
Oh, that's true.
After recess, you wear shoes.
I just feel like that'd be really ironic.
Fun fact, though. So I went kayaking. I know we should get to the topic at hand. But if it's chaotic harmony.
Yeah.
I went on a not chaotic trip. It was chaotic, but I went on a kayaking trip last break.
A chaotic kayak trip.
It was chaotic. This random guy came out of the bushes asking me when to join his nudist colony. So there were a lot of chaotic things that happened.
How did I not hear this story?
Wait, haven't I shared my?
No, you haven't.
Well, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Because I'm sure some people are curious, but I'm not sure if everyone is curious. But
Crystal's curious.
The thing was, I was wearing water shoes for the first time.
Okay.
They're so nice.
Yeah.
Good water shoes feel so nice because it feels like you're barefoot,
but
you're still protected.
I've been telling you this.
Have you?
Yes, when we went to the tide pools.
That's right. No,
yeah.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're right.
Saw the dope crevice.
It's true. With the Drew Billington.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Looking at all the anemones. I love poking the little anemones because they... They're the best. If anybody ever wants to come hang out in San Diego, I'll take you to my favorite tide pools.
Unless it's raining.
Then
we'll definitely take you.
No, then you can hang out on the back patio under all 4 patio heaters.
There we go.
Yeah. We cannot handle moisture. Little bit. Okay. So after that lovely little catch up, I received for Christmas, I was just sharing with Jonathan, Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown. I have invoked her name often on this podcast because I just love her. She has given me a lot of language to express my inner life, and I'm just really grateful for her work, and it's my favorite Christmas present. So Atlas of the Heart outlines 84 different emotions and talks about the research behind how they come up and the best way to deal with them, and how they are experienced by thousands of people. And she's just compiled the data, and it's great. So I want to talk today about 2 that are mentioned in the first chapter, and those are stress and overwhelm. So she's got it divided up into different chapters based on how we go to different places depending on our context, basically, like what we're experiencing. So chapter 1 is places we go when things are uncertain or too much. And if there's a label that you could put on teaching in this school year and
decade,
the last one,
this decade, 2020.
Sure.
Onwards.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. When things are uncertain or too much. And so she talks about stress and overwhelm. So we talked a couple episodes ago about how I gave the workshop for teaching with ORF about burnout resistance, because I just read the book by the Nagoski sisters about how to deal with completing the stress cycle. And I found it so helpful as I was reading this chapter by Brene Brown, because I feel like she just took that work and then took it even deeper into what's going on when your body goes into stress and overwhelm. And those are 2 different things. So I kind of wanted to talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about what that has looked like this year for us.
So how does Brene Brown differentiate stress and overwhelm?
Sure. So she talks about it. At first, she relates it to when she was waiting tables as a young woman. So she talks about just how crazy it is to work in that environment. You're taking care of all the different tables. You're dealing with different personalities. There's a million things to remember. The manager's yelling at everyone to hustle up. And she says that it's really there's a couple of phrases that they use. So when you're a little bit when you're kind of getting a little out of sorts and you say you're in the weeds. And so you go to your manager and you say, I'm in the weeds. And they say, what do you need? And so then you say, well, I got a RT table 4 and I need to, you just kind of go down your list.
Yes.
Like, I need to do these things. So you're capable of making a list. When you're overwhelmed, she says the phrase is, I'm blown. And that's like, I am so out of sorts that I cannot function. And if you use that phrase, then it's then they don't even ask what you need. They take your pad and they take over, and you get 10 minutes, and you have to go outside or to the bathroom or to like the fridge, and you take 10 minutes of quiet, and they just take over for you.
Okay.
And you come back from it. So that's the difference that she talks about between stress and overwhelm. And I thought it was really helpful. And she's got a couple of definitions in the book about stress and overwhelm as well. But what do you think about those definitions kind of in relation to what we've been doing this year?
That makes complete sense.
Totally.
I think stress is common in our workspace.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's been a massive shift of teachers being stressed to teachers being overwhelmed, where we just paralysis. I remember during early COVID, back when we were teaching in person, actually, we're doing the hybrid. Not even the hybrid. No, it's distance learning. That's one of the words. I'm still on break mode right now. We're just in distance learning. I was like, this was the first week I was trying to organize all the schedules, and also my fellow VAPA teachers were both on pregnancy leave.
Oh, that's right.
And there was definitely a sense of overwhelm because I need my people, but I'm alone. And everyone's trying to like vie for their own
alone
schedule.
On different levels than you've ever been before. Yeah.
Yes. So, and I know that I'm not alone in that. Yeah. So those are good definitions.
I found it helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found it really helpful. So, and then the other thing that I wanted to get into on those definitions are she quotes a lot of other researchers in this work. So I want to get into, so let's talk about stress. So stress, we feel stressed when we evaluate environmental demand as beyond our ability to cope successfully. This includes elements of unpredictability, uncontrollability, and feeling overloaded. So that's her definition of stress, which definitely this year. It's like I think about my classrooms this year and I think about the school environment. It's like we don't have enough subs. The kids are in a state, right? All of the teachers are still dealing with their own personal stuff. We don't know if we're going to have enough funding. We don't even know where to begin academically with the kiddos. We don't know if they're going to be able to have support at home. Yep. We don't know if we're even going to be able to have concerts of a normal sort this year. And it seems like every time we get our feet under us, it's like ripped out all over again. Omicron.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really easy to feel stressed.
Yeah.
And when you live in that state of stress, that's what kind of gets to overwhelm. So she has the Merriam-Webster online dictionary definition of overwhelm, which is completely overcome or overpowered by thought or feeling. And she says you're just incapable of organizing or labeling your thoughts when you're overwhelmed. Like you can't put it into words. And I've been there in a lot of different places, and I immediately thought of being a new mother. That was probably the most overwhelming season of my life because like it's just such a paradigm shift. Like you don't know what to do, and you're solely responsible for keeping this little being alive.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Yeah, and people would call, and they knew that I was overwhelmed, but I hated it when they asked, what can I do? It's like, if I could ask, then I would. And it's one of the reasons why, as a photographer, I love doing newborn shoots, because I really take it seriously going into that very sacred new family space and taking care of mom for a minute and just, you know, like taking the baby out of her arms. And I remember swaddling and putting a baby to sleep and handing it to the mom. And she was like, this is the first time since she was born that I've been handed a happy baby. I was like, oh, I know, but it's true. Yeah. So, but that's what overwhelm feels like. Yeah. You don't know how to put it into words. And so this is what I liked a lot that she talked about that totally goes into our work. So she talks about the research of John, I don't know if I'm going to say his name right, John Kabat-Zinn. He describes overwhelm as the all too common feeling that our lives are somehow unfolding faster than the human nervous system and psyche are able to manage well. That like, that hit me. It's like, that's it. And that perfectly describes our state in this post-lockdown reality. And then he goes on to say that the cure for overwhelm is mindful play, no agenda, and non-doing time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But this is the solution for overwhelm.
That's the solution for overwhelm, and that's the only way to get your brain out of it.
Fascinating.
Mindful play and non-activity.
Okay.
Which is why when you're in the restaurant setting and you say I'm blown, you leave. You go somewhere quiet.
My mind goes somewhere else. I think those are definitely the great solutions. But for me, like when I thought about, it's funny actually, I was reflecting last night about what I want different for this this year. But I think for sure taking a pause, and that helps for the situational like overwhelm. I think for the longevity overwhelm, to lack of a better term, cure it, is the reaching out. But if you can't reach out because you're overwhelmed, so that's what you need to do first. But for me, like I think about all the times where I was overwhelmed is because I thought I was the only one who has to do this. Yeah. And the necessity to reach out. Helps.
Isn't that funny how we do that to ourselves? It's like I'm the only one who's ever felt this way. Like there's billions of people on the planet.
Well, maybe not so much that. For me, it's more so like I'm the only one I am responsible for this. Okay. So I need to take care of this myself.
I understand. Nobody can be John Seligman.
No one can be John Seligman.
Got it.
I feel embarrassed if someone else helps me out.
Okay.
And so that's when so we need people.
Yeah, we do.
And I think that's why also about thinking about the restaurant business, like the person's only able to take their break because they are relying on someone else to take their shift. Yeah. So that's been
there's support in place.
There's support, yes.
I know. I was kind of jealous almost listening to that and reading that. Yeah. When she's talked about this on her podcast too. Okay. And so she got a little more in depth. I was talking to a mentor of mine, Dr. Joe Clemens. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
She was my voice teacher.
Same here.
Oh, yep. Really? Mm-hmm. Joe, you're the best.
She's pretty great.
And we were talking. So now she's in a different role at Point Loma Nazarene University, where she is kind of doing a lot of work with professional development for the professors. Mm-hmm. And so she's been talking a lot this year about self-care and kind of exploring that. So I asked for her input when I was planning my session. Mm-hmm. And so she was talking a lot. I was telling her all of these things we had in place for the students, like when the kids, elope or run out of the classroom or they melt down.
That's not what I thought.
I know. Yeah, continue. The clinical term for them running out of the classroom is elope. So when they run out or they throw a fit or they dive under a table or they start throwing things, I can call the office. Sometimes I have a two-way radio. I can have someone come get them. They are allowed to go to a couple different places, depending on who they are. They've got a couple places they're allowed to run. Mm-hmm. To a safe grown-up. We have the school garden. So we've got all these things in place for the kids to get a break. And she was like, so you've just talked through all these things that you've got in place for when the kids are overwhelmed. What about when you're overwhelmed? I was like, yeah, we don't have that.
We don't have that.
Yeah, we don't have that. And I think we should.
We should.
But we're short-staffed as it is.
It
always goes back to that.
It goes back to our conversation we had with Mark, a few episodes ago. Like, what would we do if we had
more grown-ups,
more funding, and we chose we need more bodies, but not just bodies. We need
trained grown-ups. Yeah. We need more people. This job is too much to do. We need more supports. We need more supports.
Even pre-COVID, we needed more supports. Yeah. And more so now. I think about all the things that we do. For myself, at least, I think about, I teach concert band. Mm-hmm. That in of itself is I need more assistance because just there are so many different ways. There are different instruments, different ways. Mm-hmm. And the word I'm looking for is embouchure placement. There you go. I think I mentioned this before. I learned a flute. Thank you. Uh-huh. I was a flautist. I was a flutist. Yeah, I'm going to switch to flutist because there's no flauts. I'm sorry.
There's no flauts?
There's no flauts nowadays.
Okay.
Whatever. Help me out.
Flautas.
Yes.
They're delicious.
So the thing is that embouchure goes to nothing. And I've been learning how to play all the other instruments. But nevertheless, I have such little time with these people, and it would be great to have more supports just with concert band. Right. But think about also with choir, if there's more supports for choir, if there were more adults to help coordinate different things, not just babysit, but also assist musically. Also the general ed classroom. Imagine how much more full of their education there would be if we had just more supports.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it would be revolutionary. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And that was pre-COVID.
Yeah, that was pre-COVID.
And
now we are just pitched into absolute crisis mode. And I think almost every teacher I know is blown, and has been blown in one way or another through the last 2 years. We definitely there is a collective cry for help happening, and I hope that the people in charge listen. So I led a reflection session for the people who...
Before you go there.
Go ahead, respond.
But I don't think it's just people in charge. Oh. I think it's the whole community.
Oh, for sure. Parents, all of it.
Because they're the ones that back it up. And they're like, when the kids go home, the parents are the ones that are there to support as well.
That's true.
It's a whole communal situation.
And they're blown too.
Like, the whole world is blown. Like, we recognize that as music educators. But the support happens not just from, like, the need for support is not just from the classroom, not just from the uppers, but also just the whole community to appreciate education as a whole. Yeah. And there's a lot of viewpoints on education. I get it, but like, we need more assistance to make sure that your kids get great education. Yeah.
Like, let's stop yelling at each other and start coming up with solutions. Yeah. So for the people who registered for my workshop, I led a New Year's reflection session.
How'd it go?
It was great. It was lovely. It was not recorded, and I just told everyone we're just going to hang out with each other and not worry about how we look on camera or saying everything perfectly. This is a safe space. We're just going to be vulnerable with each other. And I gave a lot of. I put together an educator's toolkit. So if you're interested in that, if you want to go. Reflect on what this last year has been like for you. I put together, it's about 7 pages long, of a guide to reflect and then maybe dream a little bit if you're able to.
We'll put it on the website.
Yeah, we can link to it. It's on it's on the Teaching with Orf main page. Yeah, it's all through Teaching with Orf. And you are welcome to those resources. They are free. And we talked about processing the trauma that we've been through. And I thought it was really interesting. One of the participants said, I have trouble with the word trauma because it's overused and it's loaded. And he was saying, I feel like it's hard to call what I've been through trauma because it does not even come close to comparing with a lot of what other people have been through. And so my response to that was, first of all, I'm not a therapist. Right. I was like, I have the same job you guys do. Right. I'm an elementary music teacher, so I can only speak from my experience. Right. But from the definitions that I've read and from the things that I have learned in therapy, because therapy is cool. Everybody should do it.
Yes.
What I've learned is that trauma is pretty much anything that rewires your brain. So you have a chemical reaction when you're triggered by a circumstance. So if you have been through something stressful, whenever you come up against a similar circumstance, your body automatically goes into a stress response because it's like, oh, we've been here before. Mm-hmm. And you have to process that through. And if you don't get to a place where you can consciously think through that response and preferably, because therapy is cool, with the help of a professional, work through coming up with some strategies to deal with that automatic response, you're going to keep getting locked in that stress cycle instead of allowing it to continue. So I think it's important that as we're going through this next year, I've said before many times, a great intervention, and we know this from the research, for what's going on in our classrooms for the kids who are out of control, who are overwhelmed, who are stressed, is a well-regulated adult. It's a sympathetic nervous system reaction. It's like when I pick up a crying baby, I can soothe them if my heartbeat is calm. And it works the same with the kids. Vibes are a thing, and so if you're a well-regulated adult, that's going to make your life easier managing your classroom. Mm-hmm. That's going to make the kids feel safer. And holy cow, that is so hard right now. But that's what's at stake. That's why we have to take care of ourselves.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, mm-hmm. It's not just for us. It's for the entire community. It ripples out.
I often get into, at least young John Seligman would often focus on, I'm here for my kids. Mm-hmm. I'm here. And it's very much the mission focused. And in turn, I was neglected because I focused so much on the mission, making sure my kids get a good education. But you bring up a good point. Like, if you are not in the right mindset, you are not giving you're doing a disjustice, an injustice, maljustice towards the kids, because they are not getting, because they feel what you feel.
Right, they do.
I was really embarrassed. Like, this former student visited me. Like, we're just chatting and whatnot. And she said, "Yeah, you always give off stressed out vibes." Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's very perceptive of her to even be able to label that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that smites.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact that she was willing to visit me, it was not just like, oh, she's stressed out. He's stressed out. It wasn't a good experience.
Yeah.
But still, how much more of a experience would be better if I was more centered?
Yeah.
Yep.
Grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be grounded.
Yep.
And that is so multi-layered. And that goes into, we don't have enough people. We don't have enough support.
No.
So you get to be your own support this year. And that is my goal. My goal is I want to be my own safe place to fall. I've been preaching self-care, right, for the last couple of years, and I had to eat my words because my body just kind of shut down on me right before break. And I had already planned on going to the doctor for a thing I needed to take care of, and she definitely nailed me. And she was like, "You are not taking care of your body. You are in massive stress, and you are going to continue to break down unless you take care of yourself, and you do it now." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." So, and she was right. And so I think that's why I've been digging in so hard into this book and to all of the resources. And it feels so funny to me that I have been placed in this position where I'm like leading these discussions about self-care when I am struggling through it myself. It's like, I'm not preaching from the mountaintop. I'm like at the bottom of the hill. Like, I think we need to go this way. Yeah.
And I think that's the key part. Like, a lot of people think leaders have their ish together, but we as leaders need to be community members as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like, yes, I agree with you that we need to be our own support, but that support only happens once again
in community,
if we all extend our arms out together and help each other out.
Yes. And that is vulnerability.
That's vulnerability, and that's tough.
That is hard, because when you're stressed and overwhelmed, you want to close up and you want to figure your ish out. And when we are afraid of what other people think of us, then we cut ourselves off.
Yeah. It's hard to be courageous.
It really is.
It's hard.
It is hard, but
and we tell our kids to be courageous, and once it goes back,
it's your rules, right?
Well, it's
be kind, be courageous,
but also back to what you were saying as well. Like, how we can't be on the mountaintop and also not practice our own words.
Yeah.
And I think the key part is practicing our own words, not mastering necessarily, because I don't think masters exist necessarily. Maybe they do. I don't know, but we need to at least be in the process of at least working through the things that we're preaching. Yeah. So, where do we go from here? How do we be more vulnerable?
Oh,
I think that's another podcast we should chew on.
Yes.
But I think that's the question that we need to ask, because I agree. We need to make sure that we are supporting ourselves, but we need to make sure we're supporting others as well, so we can support ourselves.
Yeah.
But in doing so, we need to be vulnerable to allow people in and allow others in as well. There's been a lot that's happened there's been some things that have happened this break. Nothing traumatic per se, but like, I've had to re-examine how I express love to my loved ones. And I had to re-examine vulnerability. It's hard for me to broach the topic while also making sure I keep boundaries in my public space. So
for sure.
But it's vulnerability is tough. But
it's terrifying.
It's terrifying. But if someone is being vulnerable to you, I think I'm not going off a different topic. I don't know. I think it's absolutely relevant. Okay. If someone is being vulnerable to you, then what other response are you to give other than love? And I think the same thing. I think that's a key part. And like, if you're people a community that you know that loves you, they're likely to extend love back to you if you're vulnerable.
Right. And we have to be really picky about who we choose to be in that community. They have to be worth it. You know, I think I spent too much of my life walking around way too wide open. And true, you know, connection doesn't come through just like letting anybody in. You have to be boundaries. Boundaries.
There was this one person I dated, and we decided to be friends.
Okay.
And she was like, well, I'm at the age where I'm trying to cut out friends. And I was like, ooh, that's sharp, but I respect that also. And so we managed friendship, but like I think I look back at that conversation and I agree, because like I want to love everyone. That sounds kind of, you know, hippy dippy, but like it's,
hey, that's my jam.
but that's not. But for me, like it's like I would like to extend. I care about every person. Every person is important. Every person's valuable.
Yes.
But if I spread out too wide, I cannot spread it down too deep.
That's right.
So
that's right.
You have to be selective, unfortunately, and I hate that, but it's needed.
Yeah. And I think that's where learning all of this stuff and learning to be more emotionally intelligent comes into play, because if you can understand when somebody is not being vulnerable and when they're acting out of fear and they're acting out of, you know, those lower level responses, you can tell yourself that, and you can choose to rise above it. So I think about our, you know, bringing it back to our profession specifically, because all of this applies in every single area of life, but coming back to being an elementary music teacher, we have all these camps, right? Yep. Like, I'm a Dalcroze teacher and I'm a Kodai teacher, and this is the best way, and all of you people have it wrong. It all works. We're all here to serve kids. And if you're there to serve kids and you're doing it out of love and you're coming from the right place, we can't afford to be in these little cliques. That's ridiculous. We have, you know, we are so weak without that connection. Yep. Our voices are so small, but if we put them together, then maybe we actually might be able to move the needle
very much so,
a little bit.
And I think us having discourse is good. I think us like conversing, if you think your method is better, that's fine. And let's have this discourse. Let's have this conversation. Let's have a pedagogical, like, you know, what is better? What helps the kids better? But in the end, that educator is just as needed as you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And that conversation has to start with a place of mutual respect.
Yes, it does. Very much so. And also extending that beyond just the music educator realm, but since we do teach amongst a sea of general ed teachers, we also need to recognize the teachers and staff at our school site and be vulnerable with them, and recognize that even if they do rub you the wrong way, they are just as needed and valuable.
And that rubbing the wrong way comes out of their own fear.
It does.
And their own insecurity. And that's really hard to have compassion for that. Nobody likes to be made feel, you know, less than. I cannot stand that feeling. It makes me want to run out of a room. But when I think about it with my thinking brain and not my lizard brain, then I'm able to go back and say, like, oh, okay, so she was acting this way because she has been traumatized. She's been on the receiving end of, you know, all of these things that have told her on many different levels that she is not good enough. And nobody likes that feeling.
Watching Kanto.
Oh, is it good?
It's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. But like the whole feeling of not good enough. It's like, oh,
we all feel that.
We all do.
And we're all terrified of it.
Yep. I feel like the people that exude the most confidence and the more brash confidence are the ones that feel it the most.
Yeah. Yeah, when I needed to take that day off because my doctor told me to, I went back the day after, and my 5th and 6th graders came up to me and they're like, "Oh, Miss Pridmore, why weren't you there yesterday? They were so sad." And I was like, you guys, I missed you too. And I hope you enjoyed the virtual field trip I left you to see the Nutcracker, which they did. They liked it. They got something out of it. Heard it went well. And I was like, you know what? Sometimes grown-ups need to take a little bit of time to make sure that they're the safest grown-ups they can be to help you. And they were like, okay. And they were cool with it. And so was it sad that I wasn't there? Nobody can be Mrs. Pridmore.
That's true.
I mean, just like nobody can be Mr. Seligman.
That's true.
But the school didn't burn down because I took a day off.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Everybody was okay.
Everyone was okay.
Everyone was okay.
And therapy's cool.
Therapy is so cool.
Therapy's
That's not
cool.
original. That's from Tiffany Rowe.
Oh.
She's amazing.
Okay.
That's a great Instagram follow.
Cool. Speaking of following.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, smooth.
Smooth. Third season? Season 3.
We are in season 3.
Season 3, and it's been wild. It's been a lot of shifts, been a lot of cool adventures, but it only is cool because of you. I feel like KPBS, like, you know, the whole, like, was it a sponsor season?
Yeah.
Anyways, like, thank you for following us. Thank you for listening along the way, but this only occurs because of all y'all behind the glass there, or sound waves. There's a glass somewhere. There's always a glass somewhere.
There's a lens.
There's a lens, yes,
right there.
or there's a filter in this microphone because the audio listens. We gotta acknowledge those people. That all said, please make sure you give us 5 stars on Apple, but also Spotify. Spotify you can now rate, so you can please go on Spotify because this helps this community stay intact and also helps make sure that these lights that are shining bright in my face are kept on.
Thank you, husband.
So please give us 5 stars. Leave us a review. Leave us a review, please, because like it's fun to read.
It is.
Yeah, and if you have any questions or concerns or curiosities, you can always email us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com.
And if you ask us a question on Gmail, there is a chance that we will answer it on an episode.
It's very possible.
All right, back with Spiccato after the break. I want to take a quick break and thank my husband, Bryan, who's been working behind the scenes producing these episodes every week on all of the platforms and on time. But you need to know that he is first a financial planner for Mission Trails Financial. Mission Trails Financial is a partner that seeks to guide clients in the journey to financial success. They believe that people need a financial advisor that aims to provide strategies for success. Mission Trails Financial helps people navigate investments, tax planning, and insurance. Imagine working with an advisor who isn't tied to specific brands. Mission Trails Financial has a fiduciary responsibility to act in the best interests of their clients by providing independent, objective advice. Their mission is to help clients accomplish their financial goals. As Joe Vitale once said, a goal should scare you a little and excite you a lot. Do yourself a favor and set up a time to chat with Mission Trails Financial. Visit www.missiontrailsfinancial.com or call 619-419-0238 to schedule a call. You'll be glad you did. We believe that leaning on professionals is how we get ahead. Check out the program notes for more information.
All right, so back from the break. So you often ask me to bring Spiccato.
I do.
Every week. And, well, I needed something new at my household, and I decided, you know what? I think I'll bring it.
Oh, my God.
To our listeners.
It's a plunger.
I have a toilet plunger. Unused. Unused.
I'm really glad that you
The tag is on this still.
made it clear.
It is unused. But if for some reason you would bring this into a classroom, or a set of them to a classroom, other than trumpet plungers.
I know. It's like,
other than trumpet
it's a mute.
Okay, actually, I'm going to specify. Other than trombones or trumpets, how else could you use this? If you want to use it for another instrument, you're welcome to. I don't know. But
recorder mute.
That's not a recorder mute. That's a recorder cleanse.
Let's see here. It could be a percussion instrument. Could bang it on the floor. I was hoping it would stick to the wall.
Not that one.
It doesn't.
No.
That's okay. I think it would be really funny to use it as an object lesson.
Object lesson. Expound.
Yeah, to be like if you have something in your ensemble, like your band or your choir, that they can't get past, be like, we're gonna work on getting unstuck today. You know?
Gotcha.
And then use it to conduct.
Okay.
I would totally do that. What would you do?
What would I do? I think a lot about Stomp.
Oh, for sure.
Because they do, household items. And so this one I need a lot of force to actually suction. I know.
You do.
I feel like you can do a whole routine with the plungers.
Oh, yeah.
Because it does make a nice, like, low sound. As well as you can click things together as well. So it's not just rhythm sticks, but it is plunger sticks. Just make sure that kids don't place their mouth on it.
Ew.
Yeah, it's going to happen with like whatever you use.
God, I hate that with the boom whackers.
Oh, yeah.
They're always putting it on their eyes.
Rule number 1, do not treat this like a didgeridoo. And they do.
They do every time. Yeah. There's always some boy.
That's why
it's never a girl.
It's aggregately true. But no, it's like that's why I haven't pulled the Boomwhackers this year. During like return to school because during COVID season I'm not taking that risk. I want to spray those things. The insides, the outsides, like whatever, but the insides and getting like a little cotton swab. Anyways, back to the toilet plunger. I feel like you could do a very cool percussion routine with it. I think though the one I got, which is more effective for toilets, is not as good for the versatility of sound because it has this front stopper, which is perfect. Again, perfect for toilets. But the ones that are like that are more like the trumpet mutes, where it's cut down, and you can do more stuff with it. So
make more of a fun sound with it.
Make more fun sounds with it. If you have an idea what to do with a toilet plunger in a music classroom,
besides unclogging the staff bathroom,
that is not going to happen. That is not my responsibility, or rather, my tools are not the responsibility. Ooh.
We all have that calling. I'm just saying.
Yes, that is true.
Naming names.
Jason. Regardless, if you have an idea, let us know. You can send us a response via Twitter at chclassroom or email us at chaoticcrimeclassroom@gmail.com.
Do it.
Let us know.
And we have a round.
We do. We've been doing songs with you for quite a while, which is fine.
We actually have a round of the week. Round of the week. So this is a classic. Classic round.
You say classics, and apparently my field of view is so narrow.
I was raised by puppeteers, so puppeteers/ministers.
I was raised by a hippie, so you think
you would think. You'd think. This is an old one, and it's a good one. So this is a Tom Chapin round, and it is This Pretty Planet. I feel like we have to do this one because it comes up every year around Earth Day, and it's pretty.
And it's a planet.
And
it's this.
Here we go. You ready? So shall I start us?
I'll sing with you.
You think you know it? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
This pretty planet spinning through space, your garden, your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun going down, gentle blue giant spinning around. All through the night, safe till the morning light. This pretty planet spinning through space, your garden, your harbor, your holy place.
This pretty planet spinning through space, your garden, your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun going down, gentle blue giant spin us around. All through the night, safe till the morning light. I love that one. I know, every time he has to resolve it. It's okay. Yeah.
I like this one a lot.
It's still a lovely song.
It is a lovely song. Everyone should know it. There you go, my friends.
Well, thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. If people wish to give you a Happy New Year, how can they send that to you?
They can send it to me on Instagram at Mrs.Pridmore.
Awesome. No more. Are you off the Twitters for now?
I mean, I should probably get back on the Twitters. I'm at Finny Vappa. If anybody sent me a message on Twitter and activated it, I'd probably use it.
I did send you one.
Oh, you did?
Oh, I tagged you. That's all.
Oh, okay. Whoops.
And you can find me at Mr. Seligman, MrSeligman, on the Twitters, on the Instas. I hate IG. Saying IG just feels wrong in your mouth. Insta.
The Instas.
And also
on the gram.
No, we ain't doing that.
Fine.
Or I want to do more on TikTok. Like I have some ideas. So you can follow me also at Mr. Seligman, MrSeligman, on TikTok as well. Those 3 platforms. You can also find us on all socials at CH Classroom, or YouTube is Chaotic Harmony Classroom. And if you want to send us an email, please do. We would love it. We would love it. We love getting more than just spam at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. The Chaotic Harmony Podcast is a joint project between Crystal Pridmore and Jonathan Seligman. You can find us online at chaoticharmonyclassroom.com. You can email us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail and let us know what you think. Give us feedback about what you would like to hear in future episodes. We're on all the socials. Find us on facebook.com/chaoticharmonyclassroom. You can find us on Twitter at @CHClassroom, Instagram at Chaotic Harmony Classroom, and you can even find our episodes on YouTube. Chaotic Harmony is the name of our channel. Special thanks to Bryan Pridmore for his help with production and equipment. www.pridmoria.com.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to the New Year's.
Okay, we're live.
And we're live.
That's GIF.